The new laws have effectively removed the ability for practical shotgun competitors to possess a Category C firearm. Given the apparent arbitrary nature of these changes, can we get compensation? This is the big thing, and this was one of the two first things that came out of my mouth when I had my first meeting with my lawyers back on the 10th of March was, can the state force us to surrender our private property that has monetary value, sometimes in the thousands, tens of thousands, more than that in some cases, without compensation? And there are other stories coming out now, especially in relation to lever actions, where the market has just completely tanked. People are trying to sell these firearms interstate because they cannot fathom the thought of handing them into the state, who will, like we saw on September 11, likely blow them up again. Like, that is not a violation of the NAP, the non-aggression principle. That is violence. That was a violent act doing that. I have to stress that I was horrified when I saw that image of all the firearms people voluntarily participated in that buyback. You can't buy back something you never owned in the first place. Please, can the state write that down? I'm sick of saying it, but it's the truth. People are now in a position in Australia in 2025, a worse position than when we were put in 1996, when the buyback had to, because there is a clause in the Australian Constitution that says the Commonwealth government has to pay for fair value of the property they are confiscating or have made illegal. My lawyers are looking at if that applies in this case too. I do not want anyone to have to surrender or try to sell a firearm at a tanked price because of these new laws. I don't believe that the state should have the power to ban private property in the first place. But if they do have that power, which I do not like that happening in a free country like Australia, if they do, like it's in the Constitution, they do have the power to do that, that they have to pay fair compensation. This is something that I am looking at for you. And I know I don't think that that's enough, that you're compensated for what you've lost. I want you to keep it from my cold, dead hands, as that was put in the Ben Harvey piece about me. I don't want you to have to hand in anything, but if you have to, because this is the democracy that we live under, I want you to receive compensation for it. And I do not think it is a appropriate use of taxpayers' money to be buying private property off of peaceful people because you've brought in laws that you believe should be the law of the land without listening to any of us during that disingenuous consultation period. I do not think this is a fair system that we are living under. So at the very least, you compensate us for that. And that is something I've been very clear with my legal team about. I do not want people in a worse off situation. And I've heard multiple stories of people saying, if I had known that they were closing that buyback program, that they weren't going to reopen it, and then they introduced the prohibited firearm bans in December after they closed the buyback, and now they're saying, too bad, you're not getting any compensation, sell it on a tanked market or we'll blow it up for you. That is not how a government should treat the people. No. And this is why I'm so glad I'm in this position where I've got lawyers on speed dial, because this is the kind of conversations I'm having. No wonder my lawyer gets a bit grumpy with me. But this is what I believe, and this is the messages I'm getting from you, and I'm relaying how you're feeling to them.